Hi everybody, welcome to Sanctuary Sundays. I'm Josh, and this is...
I'm Jackson. Nice to meet you. I'm the Director of Volunteer Outreach here.
And so, sorry we were not here last week. It was raining, and I had a bit of a sinus infection. And Tiffany, who's usually with me, she is out of town this week, so Jackson was kind enough to come over and help out with this week's Sanctuary Sunday.
You get the B team.
The B team. This could become the A team.
You never know.
You never know. And Tiffany's at a wedding. She's been to lots of weddings lately. Seems like everybody she knows getting married, other than her. I'll cut that.
Okay.
Yeah, I can cut that. So anyway, yes. So today we're going to be meeting Oliver's herd.
So who is Oliver?
So Oliver is actually our first pig companion, and what started me down the road to rescuing pigs and learning as much as I could about pigs. So we're going to meet Oliver, we're going to meet his whole herd, we're going to talk about them a little bit, so come join us.
That's awesome. Let's go check it out.
All right. Hey, everybody. Oliver, you being shy. So, everyone meet Oliver. And actually, and Tilly and Winston. So, Oliver here was our very first piggy back in 2011. So, I had always wanted a pig. I grew up in Savannah and had some friends who had a piggy. And I was just always enamored with him and knew that I wanted one. And what we didn't know in 2011, there's very little info out there on pigs and miniature pigs, and we thought that the teacup pig was the new thing from the UK. And so Oliver actually came to us from a breeder who said he would be 30 to 40 pounds full grown. So Oliver is a good 110 pounds. We realized immediately that he acted like he was starving all the time. So we found out that we had been royally lied to on how much to feed him. It wasn't nearly enough. And that's what really drove me to start researching more and then joining Facebook groups. And that's when we realized there was this huge need that we had no idea about to rescue potbelly and miniature pigs, because so many were being dumped. They were being sold as apartment pets for people, and then they couldn't get up and down steps anymore when they were full grown. People were not being basically trained properly to how to take care of a pig, what to feed them, how much to feed them, how to correct them. And pigs can be rather pig-headed, I say, comes about for a reason. So they can be bossy and they can be destructive if they're not happy. And you have to know like a lot of things about pigs and how to correct them in order to keep things like that from happening. So Oliver was our first one, and as you see, he's still a big baby, but he won our hearts immediately. And then a year later, Winston over there came to live with us, and he had spent the first, he was probably about 3 months old, and he had spent 6 weeks of his life in a crate, and the people really didn't know what to do with him. We found out about him, brought him home. All he knew was to scream. So if he wanted anything, he screamed, because that's how he got anything he wanted before. So that was a very big learning experience, working with him and teaching him he didn't have to scream when he needed something and how to really act appropriately. But the neat and unique thing about Oliver's herd is we're pretty positive that Oliver is a mix between a Kune and a potbelly pig. And if you're not familiar with Kune pigs, they're known for being very docile, very easygoing. And so Oliver's herd totally has that vibe. And so when we moved here, it was just Oliver, Winston, and Samson who came with us to Cotton Branch. And their herd has expanded to 9 now, because anytime we have anyone who's getting bullied or doesn't seem to fit in another herd, we know that we can add them into Oliver's herd, and they're pretty much immediately accepted. So it's been really neat to watch that, and we think a lot of that comes from Oliver setting that kind of chill, laid-back vibe. So this is Samson. Samson is our third piggy, and Samson was supposed to just have a layover at our place in Charlotte before we moved to Cotton Branch. And we were already volunteering. I had started the adoption program for piggies in need, and Samson came from a really bad abuse case. So when we got Samson home for his layover to our place, Samson would attack us. And I was like, well, I can't send him to Cotton Branch, as at the time he was almost 200 pounds. He was overweight too, as a 200-pound attack pig. So we decided that Samson could stay with us and we'd work on his behavior. And we started doing that. Seemed like Samson was never really going to come around. He stopped being aggressive after a couple months, but just really didn't like to be touched, didn't like people, would not come inside with the other two. But he and Oliver and Winston immediately bonded. So we decided, you know what, even if we can never touch Samson, he's happy. They love each other, so he has a home. And eventually, when we moved here, of course, Samson came with us, and he started meeting more and more people as visitors came out and the different caretakers. And it was 5 years before Samson actually let me give him a belly rub. But he would follow us around whining for attention, like that. And then if you petted him, he'd whine about that. But I tell you, the day he rolled over the first time for a belly rub, I cried, because it meant so much to me that he finally trusted us enough to give him love. Because I felt like, I always used to say, Samson doesn't know how to give or receive love because he had never had it before. So he would follow you and whine and want attention, but then if you petted him, he didn't understand that either. So it took a long time for him to understand. But you see now, he's a big baby, and he has never met a stranger. When people visit, he loves attention and just runs right up to people now, don't you, buddy? Yes. But say he's still, he and his buddy Blue, who's in here, they're very much alike, and they're our two whiniest pigs here, right? Yes.
Thank you for joining us for Sanctuary Sunday. Next week, we'll be going to visit my personal favorite herd, the Ferals, headed by yours truly, Mr. TJ, the boss of that herd. You'll get to meet him and all his other friends next week. Looking forward to seeing you then. Have a good rest of your weekend.
Thanks so much, y'all, and be sure to check out, I do want to remind everybody, We will have extras sometimes on our YouTube, so be sure to check us out on our YouTube and like and subscribe on there. These are also featured on our Instagram and our TikTok. So a lot of times we like to include a little extra on our YouTube since it can be a little bit longer. So be sure to check those out, and sometimes we'll have some interviews with people on there too. So thanks so much for watching. Bye.
Bye.
You can take a ride on my big orange tractor.